Welcome to Let the Quran Speak. I'm Safiyyah, your host. A mosque is supposed to be a place of peace. It is where people pray, children learn, and families gather. But recently, a mosque in San Diego was subject to a deadly attack. 3 people were killed, and children were present in the building. How can we understand this attack on a place of worship? We'll be looking at that now. With me is Dr. Shabir. Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
Dr. Shabir, I don't know if you've been following the news of what's going on in San Diego. We keep getting more and more reports, and it is such a tragic incident. I wonder what your thoughts and reflections are on what happened.
Well, definitely it's a frightening scenario to contemplate, and it sends reverberations throughout the Muslim community in the United States, in Canada, and perhaps elsewhere as well, where people wonder about their safety in the mosques. We are reminded of the deadly shooting that occurred in a Quebec mosque in 2017, where 6 people were shot while they attended prayers. And even more devastating than this, in 2019, the shooting in Christchurch in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. And it's eerie that the perpetrators in this case were celebrating the attacker of that Christchurch incident and considering themselves somehow as being like following in his footsteps.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Shabir, I understand that all religions sanctify places of worship, and Islam is no exception. I understand that the Quran has a particular verse that says that these places of worship should be protected. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Dr. Shabir?
Yes, in the 22nd chapter of the Quran, in the 39th and 40th verse, there is a reference to places of worship, including the mosques. It says, had it not been for the fact that God used some people to drive back some others, لَهُدِّمَتْ صَوَامِعُ وَبِيَعٌ وَصَلَوَاتٌ وَمَسَاجِدُ يُذْكَرُ فِيهَا اسْمُ اللَّهِ كَثِيرًا. Then the churches, the synagogues, the hermits would have, or monasteries, would have, and the mosques, in which the name of God is being recited much, would have been demolished. So in sum, this verse is saying that it is necessary for some people to drive back attackers, otherwise the attackers would demolish these places of worship. Now, of course, this was an ancient scenario where people did not respect and tolerate a variety of religious views. And one might attack the worship center of another, but the Quran is showing that all of these worship centers should be protected, not only the mosques. And now fast forward to the year 2026, a horror of horrors, in a place like the United States of America, where the freedom of expression and tolerance is the hallmark of the day, and a place of worship is being attacked like this.
Mm-hmm. It's the hateful words, Dr. Shabir, that people are using, and the things that people are saying against communities like Muslim communities, but other communities as well, that is kind of fueling these sorts of attacks. So it's very unfortunate that this is happening.
Yeah, and the surprising thing is that I looked at the Wikipedia article about this shooting and the aftermath, and it mentions a certain a person by name, I don't remember the name so clearly, Laura Booth or something.
Advisor to Trump, yes.
Yeah, and she, is cited in that Wikipedia article as, espousing very surprising views, like, these people do not deserve our sympathy. They would have killed us all. They should go back to their country where there is a mosque in every corner and where they will be safe and so on. Why couldn't everyone be just safe in America? Why could we not just live and let live? Why could we not all get along? So we have people like this who are espousing this sort of hate. And Faisal Kuti, in his the lawyer, wrote a very interesting article that was published in the Toronto Star, recapitulating some of these hateful rhetoric that is being and has been espoused by people who are close to the presidency and who would have an influence in public policy, and some of the hateful rhetoric that they have been using against Islam and Muslims. So we cannot identify one particular cause, like what caused those 2 young men to perpetrate this horrible assault on a place of worship. But you can see that all of these things would feed into the general atmosphere out of which something like this is born. You sow the seed, you water the plants, and then, eventually you get the fruits. In this case, horrible fruit.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Shabir, the Quran and all religious traditions, in fact, respect the sanctity of the human being. And the Quran has a verse, if you kill one person, you kill all of mankind. But unfortunately, it seems as if people don't actually see Muslims as human beings, so they don't care. It feels like they can do all and sundry with Muslims, and I think this is really concerning because how can we respond to that as Muslims? Like, what do we need to do? And I see that you're getting emotional about it, Dr. Shabir.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how we can respond to hate without becoming hateful ourselves.
Yeah, that's really a challenge, and we have to be the good Muslims that the Quran calls on us to be, and being such good persons means that we do not respond in kind. We respond with kindness, and the Quran speaks about this. La tatamannaw, do not let the hate of a people cause you to swerve from the justice. Right, in the 5th surah of the Quran, in the 8th verse, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى, you are to cooperate with each other with in piety and with in righteousness. وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ, and do not cooperate with other people in sin and in transgression. And do not let the hatred of a people, شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ, let not their hatred cause you to swerve from doing justice. اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. Be just. That is closest to the God awareness that you're trying to cultivate. So the Quran is warning us that you can easily slip into a tit for tat sort of situation where they harm us, and so we have to harm them. They said something bad about us, and so we have to respond in kind. No. Elsewhere in the Quran, we are told, idfa billati hiya ahsan, respond with that which is most gracious. فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. Then it will become as though the one between whom and you there was some enmity will become as your warm friend.
But how do we do this practically, Dr. Shabir? This sounds too idealistic for our current times.
I know. But we, we have to live up to that ideal, and we cannot allow ourselves to be dragged down by, people who have lower levels of moral commitment. Somebody said to me once that, if you wrestle with a pig, then you will both get muddy, and the pig will love it, right? So that's their game. We shouldn't get into their game of mudslinging and so on. So on the one hand, it is very important that Muslims start living the life of a Muslim so that others will be impressed by the way in which Muslims behave. So even though there are some with an agenda who do not really care about whether Muslims are good or bad, they just want to, protect their own. They, as in the case of these young men, they were fueled by racist ideologies. So for such people, maybe it does not really matter whether you're good or bad. In their minds, you're always going to be bad. But the vast majority of people are thinking, reasonable people. They're going to see, and differentiate between what is good and bad. When they see the good behavior of Muslims, when they see that Muslims in the workplace, for example, are honest, they show up on time, they work, devotedly, because that's part of Muslim ethics. So we cannot claim a wage unless we are working to justify that wage. And when they see that we do not fool around in the office, we are conscientious in the way that we approach our jobs and the way we go about life, then they will have a new level of respect for Muslims. And when they hear the kind of hate rhetoric that is out there, they will recognize it for what it is, because they'll say, look, I work with Ahmed, I work with Fatima, I know these people, they're good people. Don't say such awful things
Doctor,
about them.
what would your advice be for individuals who are feeling very fearful right now as they go about their lives, and in particular as they approach places of worship?
Well, our places of worship need to be as secure as is reasonable. There are some government funds that are available for places of worship to shore up their level of security. We should take advantage of these funds. The communities, as on their own, should generate their own funds to make enhancements where necessary to the security apparatus, hire security personnel if needed, especially on special and large occasions, especially if a mosque has been under some threat, as in the case of the San Diego Mosque. Back in 1991, they had received a bomb threat, but the Los Angeles Times had reported that eventually it turned out that the bomb was not a real one. But things like this alert us to danger, and we should respond with more protection. We should also watch our surroundings. When people come to the mosque, they should, especially if they're coming in the wee hours of the morning or leaving late at night, they should not walk alone, but walk in pairs at least, or a larger group, so that there is strength in numbers. One should not be too complacent, but not too fearful either, but walk a balanced way between complacency and phobia. In a reasonable way. Just be aware of your surroundings and so on. In the mosque itself, people have to take precautions. Not everybody has to pray all at once. They can be 2 or 3 persons who are off to the side, who are volunteers for security for that particular prayer occasion. And then when the group has finished praying, then those 2 or 3 persons can go and form their own little group and pray separately, while, of course, now the whole congregation is awake and alert, to any possible attack. Those who pray close to the imam, the prayer leader, because often it's the prayer leader that is the target of the attack. And sometimes, one lone person might come forward and God forbid, attack the imam. So the imam should be surrounded. In our traditional books, it is mentioned that, the person who prays right behind the imam should be one who is so capable that if the imam should default, this person can step forward and lead the congregation in the prayer. So we're thinking here of a person who is schooled in Islamic theology and especially in the recitation of the Quran and the rules of Muslim prayer and so on. But now we're feeling the need, as described by one Toronto imam, Hamid Salimi, we are feeling the need that the imam should have just in his arm's length, within his arm's reach, persons who are capable of also physical defense. So that if anyone should attack the imam or attempt to attack the imam, one of these persons praying within the vicinity of the imam could actually easily forestall that person.
It's sad that it's gotten to that point, Dr. Shabir.
Exactly, that we even have to think about that when we think of worship. This is the reality that we live in now, and we need to rise to that reality.
And we would be remiss, Dr. Shabir, if we didn't mention the names of those heroic individuals who were martyred, who were killed as a result of trying to defend the community, defend the mosque, and defend the children who were inside the mosque.
Yes, definitely. And their names are known to God, but let our audience know of Amin Abdullah and Mansour Kaziha and Nader Awad. These persons are heroes. They were already celebrated in the San Diego community, even by chief of police in San Diego, as heroes of the moment. But their names are also known to God, and God will, we pray, accept them as the martyrs that they are, and make it easy for their loved ones to bear the loss of their parting.
I mean, to your prayers, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Media Hub, the new home of Let the Quran Speak.
Here we spread positivity and good. We help people experience the beauty of Islam and help them appreciate and understand Muslims.
This beautiful building we purchased at cost $2.3 million.
Yeah, we've already raised a third of that money, and with your help, inshallah, we can pay off the rest.
So we're looking for people who can give $1,000 each. If you can be part of the select group, that's amazing.
Otherwise, just please give whatever whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help us continue this good work.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be a benefit to the Muslim community long after Safiyyah and I are gone.
Please support our work at muslimmediahub.com.
Your support is zakat eligible and tax deductible.
May Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.